over to centers, and he ended up getting the first down. Finally, Romanowski making the tackle after a pickup of 12. The Dallas Cowboys having won easily with the lead in the NFC East. The Eagles looking to win to solidify their leading wild card situation and also trail the Cowboys by only a game. They meet in a couple of weeks, and the Arizona Cardinals in the wild card hunt. First and 10 on the Eagle 37. Ronald Moore back in at running back. And here's Moore. Spins away off a defender and picks up 7 yards. Greg Jackson.
When Ronald Moore has been in the football game, they've been attacking right down the middle of that Eagle defense. And then they bring Higgs in, and they're starting one way and coming back to the other side. And I think right now this offensive line has a pretty good feel for what's going on in that running game.
And they're not running today like they were worst in the NFL. Second down and 3. Again, here is Moore fighting for the yardage and close to the first down. He may have it. Gain of 5 yards. Romanowski and William Thomas, and this is a Cardinal vintage game. Ball control and superb defense in this first half.
Yeah, you got Samuels on a nice block, and this is just an isolation. He just comes right through, again, tacking the center of that defense. And you see him come right through. Now watch Fred Hager step up, and then Samuels right on him. Now Hager gets low and tries to turn it back in, but Samuels had buried him.
And the Eagles have brought the fridge back in the game to shore up their run defense. First down on the 25. And a whistle, and that normally indicates a penalty on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty called against the Phoenix Cardinals. Cunningham might have moved. I want to remind you this game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Arizona Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited. Under 5 minutes to go, first half. 3-0 Cardinals, and they threaten. Play fake on first and 15. And the flip to Larry Centers, and William Thomas runs him down, but not before Centers gets close to yet another first down.
A nice call by the Cardinals right here. This is that lag draw pass. They line Centers up as the fullback, and they're going to try to stop him in here like it's going to be a run. And then what he does is he comes all the way back out. And what you try to do is you get everybody back inside and have him run across the grain. When you have a running game going where you're pounding the inside all the time, you can take your fullback like Centers and run that misdirection.
Second down and 2. And the give is to Ronald Moore, and Moore should have the first down inside the 15.
Well, one weakness that the Philadelphia Eagles have on their defense is lack of depth at the defensive tackle spot. They got Andy Harmon and they got William Perry, and when those guys get tired, they really don't have anybody to come in. And so what happens is Perry gets in there and he starts to get tired. You're looking at wait around, and then they take him out, and then teams blow holes open, and he's got to go right back in.
Notice the Cardinals with 92 rushing yards. They came into the game averaging 87 a game. So they've already surpassed that. They have a first and 10 on the 14-yard line. Ricky Prohl running in motion. Schrader on the rollout, and the pass is caught by Gary Clark. Stayed in bounds and knocked out of bounds at about the 8 by Bill Romanowski, and a gain of 6.
That Gary Clark just amazes me. I mean, the guy, he'll do anything you ask him to do on this football field. Now watch the first hit that he takes, and then has the presence and the ability to keep his feet in bounds. Look at that. Right outside, now tiptoed, knowing Romanowski's going to smack him, he still stays right with it and gets down the field.
Second down and 4. Clark has to go some to continue his string of 50 or more catches. And a draw play on a fake to Ronald Moore. Larry centers for a couple of yards, not much. Winding down to less than 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half. The only scoring in the game was a 24-yard field goal by Greg Davis in the first quarter, and it looks as if Jay Schrader might have hurt his thumb.
It also looks like they're going to let it run down to the 2-minute mark.
So we now have 2 minutes remaining in the first half here at Sun Devil Stadium. Matt and I will return. Aflac trivia question: who was the last Eagle to return a kickoff for a touchdown? This may surprise you. The answer to the question: Andre Waters. And that was on November 18th, 1984 in Washington. It was an 89-yard kick return. Waters is on the sidelines with a foot injury, and that's why Brent Alexander, the rookie, starting at cornerback. Third down and 3 on the 7th. This is the 11th play of the drive. Play fake, pressure, tip, and it was William Fuller on the pursuit and got a hand on that pass by Schrader, and that will bring up 4th down.
Well, that's a very big play by William Fuller. You know, watch him come up the field, and again, great presence. You're not going to bootleg this guy's a good pro, and he's looking for Gary Clark downfield, and then after he knocks the ball down, he has the presence to try to turn around and get it.
Well, Greg Davis is on. He kicked a 24-yard field goal in the first quarter, and this, too, is a 24-yard attempt. Jay Schrader is the holder, and the kick is good. Well, the Cardinals with superb defense and great ball control. 2 field goals by Greg Davis, and it's 6-0. By virtue of 2 field goals and a huge time of possession edge. A little over 20 minutes to a little over 8 minutes thus far, but I wonder whether that field goal and not the touchdown could come back to haunt him.
I'd have to agree with you. In fact, talking about it in between, we just were, and I have to think that getting the field goal kills them, because all that means at 6-0 is they're one big play away from being down by 1 point.
And the Eagles are known for their big plays. Herschel Walker back deep along with Vaughn Hebron. Davis will kick off for Arizona. It's a short kick, and Herschel Walker on the 15-yard line, returning for Philadelphia. He finds some running room and brings it out smartly to the 40-yard line. Well, join us this Thursday for a Fox NFL Thanksgiving Day special. Heather Locklear, yes, will join Terry, Howie, Jimmy, and James to make broadcast history, they tell us, in a special Fox NFL pregame show. And then the Green Bay Packers against the Super Bowl champs, the Dallas Cowboys, in a rematch of last year's playoff game. It all starts 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Packers licking their wounds after a loss today in Buffalo. And Cowboys riding high after coming back with a win today over Washington. First down on the 40. Cunningham starting out of the shotgun, gets pressure up the middle. James Joseph. And Joseph is hit.
Outstanding
play by Seth Joyner.
Outstanding. It doesn't get better than what Seth Joyner did right there. He had man coverage in Joseph all the way, and he fought off the 2 blocks. And you're going to watch Joseph's going to come out. Watch Seth Joyner 59. He has the people in front of him, and then watch how he works them off. There's one, and then there's the tackle.
Loss of 5 yards. Second down. Fred Barnett underneath, trying to get away from Cardinal defenders, goes out of bounds and stops the clock. Keep in mind, the Eagles have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and a pickup of 4 yards on that play. Rich Kotite, who has won 37 and lost 23 in his 4 seasons, and remember, 28 of those victories have come without Randall Cunningham, who was injured during that time. Third down and 11. Williams pass incomplete, going for Williams. So once again, the Cardinals defense holds. They've done it all day. They did not sell out the game quick enough to lift the blackout, but we have about 76 or 77,000 today. Ryan Barker with a good high kick. Patrick Robinson inside his 15 calls for the fair catch with exactly 1 minute to play in the first half. Again, coming up on the Dockers halftime, James and Terry will have all the scores and highlights from around the NFL. And that is all coming up next on the Dockers halftime. And Matt, as we get closer to the end of the season, it is time to talk about and consider the teams that have wild card shots. A big game for the Bears today with their win, but not so much for the Lions and the Packers in the Central.
Yeah, I think the Bears are playing really good team football, because when you look at them up and down the roster, they don't have any real game breakers. They don't have any guys who turn the game around, but what they do have is a Coach of the Year coach team and a team that's playing the best team football in the league.
Mark Higgs, who has gained 30 yards on 3 carries, is in the backfield on first down. Jerry Samuels is the blocking back, and Higgs gets the ball. Nothing doing. Under a minute remaining.
See Andy Harmon at the bottom of that pile, throwing his body in there with that cast.
And a timeout has been called by the Eagles here. Buddy Ryan behind him, and of course the question that is always asked here is that what kind of respect does Buddy Ryan have not only for offenses around the league, but his own offense?
I never thought that he was big on offense, period, whether it was the opposing teams or his own. And Dave Atkins there is right now calling a conservative game, but a game that's working for him. It's the same game that they've done for the last 10 weeks, just pounding the football. But right now, that offensive line is opening some holes.
Second down and 10. Ronald Moore is the running back. Eagles called the timeout. Play fake. Pressure, and down goes Schrader. And it was Greg Townsend coming in with the sack, and that is the first of the game for Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was a mismatch on the outside. Townsend lined up outside, and he just ran right past Samuels. Samuels was lined up on the wing and had to come back down inside. So he's going to just blow right inside. See, Samuels had to come back inside, and that's just a tough position to be in. And they slid the line over this way and had Samuels come back. You can't get that done.
Second sack of the year for Townsend, and the Eagles call their second timeout. This selection, that's exactly, you said, what Dave Atkins wanted as far as rushes and passes.
And that's what Buddy Ryan is comfortable with. And this is a situation here that Ryan's not comfortable with, throwing from out of your end zone.
Third and 19. And they're going to go with the handoff to Larry Centers. I tell you, they're really flirting with danger there, and the Eagles immediately call a timeout. Their last timeout of this first half.
That should give them good field position in the punt exchange. And again, with 6 points and Randall Cunningham, you're 1 play away from being tied up and then going down by 1.
And if you're the Cardinals and you get as close to the opposing goal line as the 10-yard line, you better get the touchdown. You may not get that many opportunities in a game.
Especially with this kind of team. I mean, you know, the way that the Cardinals have called the game. I'll tell you what, if you're on the Cardinals sideline right now, you got to be disappointed. You've controlled the ball all game long. You've been down in their territory, and you only have 6 points to show for it. That's got to be disheartening.
Eagles will be kicking. Remember, he can't touch that back white line, and Jeff Seidner is already standing in Cardinal territory. 47 seconds remaining. The Eagles are out of timeouts.